Hey everybody, and welcome back. So today I wanted to use a new palette I picked up, and it's just the Essence All About palette, and they have, I believe, 3 or 4, and this is the All About Paradise, which is more of like bright. It literally just makes me think of like a tropical place. So I wanted to use this. Originally, when I had started doing this tutorial, started filming it, I had used the All About Pastels, which looks exactly like this, except for the colors are obviously light, frosty pastel colors instead, but they just, none of the colors looked different on camera. So unfortunately for that palette, I don't know if I'll ever be using it, but luckily it was only like $5, so it's okay. But this one is much more pigmented, and it's what I used to do this look today. So if you want to see how to achieve this, I'm going to call it, let's just call it a Paradise Eye then. If you want to see how to achieve this Paradise Eye, then just keep watching. So to start off with, we're going to be starting with the bright pink color and just going in with the Sigma E40. I believe that's what, just any big round fluffy brush to blend that all into the crease. So this is going to be kind of like our transition color because I'm not going to be using anything other than that, just in that upper crease area today. Just making sure that you get that all, since it is a little bit brighter of a color. And then we'll be going in with the bright yellow just into, like, I'd say the inner third of your eye. And unfortunately with this palette and these shadows, you do have to pack it on kind of a lot, going over the same area multiple times just to kind of get a little bit better color density and payoff. But with this one, as long as you have like a smaller brush like this, you can get the color payoff eventually. And then going in with that like green teal color, and just be taking a more dense brush and just popping that into the inner third of the eye. And the same thing with all these colors. Unfortunately, not one is more pigmented than the other, so you definitely have to pack them on multiple times just to get that perfect color payoff. And with this, there will be some fallout, unfortunately, but you're just gonna have to clean up at the end is what I ended up doing. And just in the outer third is just going to be that darker blue shade. It was kind of sad, unfortunately. It ended up like falling out of the palette as I was using it, so I had to pick it up and put it back in, and hopefully, luckily, it didn't only break into a million pieces. It was just 2, so it fit nicely back into it. And just to touch on like the blendability of this palette as well, since I'm kind of just doing like a review as well, they blend decently well together. These are the only shadows I used in this look, so I'm not quite sure how they'd work with other shadows, but as you can see here, I definitely have to go back in again and touch up and add more color, unfortunately. And now for the fun part. So this Chanel bronzer is so amazing. It's so great and it looks really natural, as you can see right here, and I've been loving this and I use it every single day, and I always do set it with a powder, as you'll see in a few minutes as well too, but it just gives you a really natural glow. And as you can see, I am pretty fair, so even when I put it on, it doesn't give like an orangey or a muddy hue as well. And I've been using this with my Makeup Geek Angled, I think it's our Angled blush brush, I believe, but this one just works really well because it's pretty dense. And then for the highlight color, I'm just using the shade Porcelain, which is a new shade. I believe it's the lightest one in the range from the LA Girl concealers. And I just dab that on just the same way you do any normal concealer. And with this one, I blend it out the same way I use all my other concealers as well. And I just go ahead and use my beauty blender. I don't use it damp, unfortunately, just because most of the time I forget about it, but it blends it out really nicely as well. And for like a little mini review on this concealer, I've actually been really liking this one. It doesn't crease too much, which is awesome. And then just to go ahead and set the bronzer, I'm just going to be using the shade, I'm pretty sure it's Java from the Anastasia contour kit, the original one. It's the one right next to Fawn, if that helps at all. And just go ahead with a big fluffy brush and blend that all over. Just adds a little bit more depth in those outer corners, but just sets it as well. And as always, just going in with the banana powder as well and setting that under eye area. I do like to start, instead of directly underneath my eye right there, I like to start right on top of the contour, only because I feel like it creases a little bit if I put the powder directly onto it. And just a little trick for brightening up the eyes. I do this even when I don't have any makeup or shadow on my eyes. I just use the shade, I believe it's Vanilla from the same contour palette, and just pop it into that inner corner. And then just to set the rest of my face, I'm just going to be using the powder from the Balm, and this kind of sharpens up that contour line as well and brightens up that top. And then for the blush, I'm just going to be using Spellbound from Makeup Geek. And then with that, you just want to stay right on top of the contour and just leave that high points of your cheekbones blank, so that way you can allow the highlighters to really show through, and just blending those two really well together as well. And for the highlight today, I'm going to be using the Cake Layers Cosmetics Blush and Go palette, which I did mention in my favorites this month. As you can see, it's so pretty and it's super pigmented. It's just like a really nice white hued highlighter that blends amazing. And if you didn't happen to see that video, I will definitely link the Cake Layers website as well, so you can go ahead and check that out. For normal, just brush, using the Brow Wiz from Anastasia in the shade Dark Brown to fill in my brows. And then I go ahead and I will use, after I comb through, I'll just use the brow powder in the shade Chocolate, and I use the lighter of the two duo just to go in and finish up that inner corner of my eyebrows, just because I feel like it looks a little bit more natural this way with the powder versus anything like a pomade or the brow dip, anything like that. And just to set them with the brow gel is just the xoxo brow gel. I would be careful with this stuff. I do use it every day, but unfortunately, like lately, it seems like a lot of products been coming out at once. I don't know how that happens. I thought they dried up over time, but I guess not. And then I'm just going to be going in with the xoxo Black Magic Eye Mascara. I'm pretty sure that's what that one is called. And just going in and doing my bottom lashes. Now I'm going to go in and do the winged liner, and I'm just using the tattoo liner from Kat Von D in the shade Trooper, which is probably the only liquid eyeliner I'll probably ever use because it makes it so user friendly for me. Oh, I got so lucky today. Literally, it was one of those great wing days where it just worked with me and I didn't mess up, thank the Lord, because I was filming and that would have been really awkward to have one janky eye. And that's what it looks like just with both of these sides on. I ended up putting some black liner in the top and the bottom of the waterline. I feel like for me, unfortunately, black is a little bit harsh. I think at the end of the day before I left the house, I ended up putting a white liner in the bottom side of my tear duct just to brighten it up a little bit. It was a little bit too harsh for me, unfortunately. And then for the top mascara, I've just been obsessed with that roller lash. It is so good. For lips, I'm just going to be using a MAC pencil liner in the shade Hip and Happy. I'm pretty sure that's what that one is. And just going over and filling up the entire lips. You can, of course, leave it just like this because it's a really pretty light pink and it'll last you all day long. But I went ahead just to add a little bit of shine in the shade Spring Fling from Gerard Cosmetics and just pop that on. I didn't want it to be too intense because it is a pretty fair pink shade, so I just went ahead and dotted it on and kind of blended it out. And this is the complete look. I did not use any lashes today, but you can always do that to just amp up the look a little bit. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in a few days for my next video. Bye!